drills out of the way, what I can say is this.
Let's all take a breath together.
With the first looks at this holster, you can see that the sweat guard is twice as thick as the rest of it, great for rigidity. It is stitched together with a heavy twine and double stitching across the body. The belt clip is sewn in place and can handle most belt sizes. The sidecar for this one is for double stack magazines. As for the color, it is a deep saturated black. I do believe they have other options. This holster is for appendix carry, and let's see it out on the range. Hey, what's going on? It's Hobby Problems. We're out here today testing out the Craft Holsters A110. I'm gonna run a couple drills myself from concealment, and then we're gonna talk about kind of how I feel about the rig. Hopefully I'm in frame. I have no idea. I don't have a camera person still. I'm gonna try and remember to do a 1R1 with retention. Maybe with a little more practice it could be different, but this A110 has a really kind of vertical mag angle, so I got to crane that thumb way over, right? I go to put back in the empty mag while I'm doing attack, it pushes it down and it rotates, especially with the thinness of that clip. Just to, range thoughts, that's what it's for, right? That was sloppy. That's what practice is for, though. Get the slop out of it. Man, I really hope this audio turns out. All right, so we're gonna do a 2R2. Hitting a little high on some of those. If you're wondering what I'm shooting at, I got an 8-inch circle downrange. Let's try and get that in frame. Not doing too bad. Side note with what I brought to the range with me today, and you should bring every day you're at the range. Sorry for the wind noise. I have a full iPad, my ammo, credentials, everything you need just in case something bad happens. I also got some survival equipment, tape because you always need tape, backup fixed blade because you always need the fixed blade, gloves, which I hate using to shoot, but if I get Glock knuckle or something, I'll throw those on. Quick access to my tourniquet as well as medical shears just in case anything bad happens. Got a few thoughts here, wrote them down on a notepad, so if it looks like I'm reading, it's because I'm reading. Alright, so my range thoughts with this holster, man. The A110 by Craft Holsters, I call it the side saddle because it's leather, cowboy stuff, I guess. But anyway, so the first few drills out of the way, what I could say is this. It'll hold your gun. 100%. 100%. That's a leather holster, and it ain't letting go, okay? It ain't letting go. Now, as far as mobility would be concerned, walking around with it every day, out driving with it, it took me about an hour and a half to drive out here wearing that holster. It's not the most comfortable. Mine in particular came a little long for my weapon. That sticks down into my leg while I'm driving, while I'm walking. Lord forbid I have to squat or cross my legs for any reason. It's not gonna happen. It's kind of hard to get my fingers in and around it, and maybe you could see me fumbling for grip with the holster. That could be a training issue. I've been doing my weekly dry fire, so maybe that would be trained out. Also, as I mentioned earlier, some pretty aggressive stippling here where my undercut is. And with that, it does not want to let that go. As soon as I added that, my draw probably dropped by a 1/16 or 2 of a second because now I'm fighting that. I'm leaving that in. That was funny. Let me get the gun out of it here, show clear we're safe. Mag's empty, we're safe. It is very confidence inspiring. It is rigid, it's curved to the body for an attempt at comfort. It holds its shape without the weapon in it. They added another 16-inch thick piece of leather for rigidity. And it is rigid. It doesn't really want to go anywhere, and it stays there where it needs to be all the time. But it don't got much give to it, which is great in a leather holster. Probably adds to that great retention. You can see it's a slicker holster, meaning it's not really going to go with your optic. It's not going to go with a WML. It's a good holster if you're running a slick setup. I do have suppressor height sights on my weapon, and yeah, it does work still, which is great. Goes in, comes out, goes in, all the things you need a holster to do. Those are my range thoughts here. Why don't you get back to myself over at the tabletop, and we'll really break it down, get a closer look at it, talk about that. Welcome back to the tabletop. Hopefully you enjoyed that range kind of footage and my thoughts for practical usage. Now that we're back on the table, I'm just going to talk about some tweaks that I would like to see in the A110 platform. I like the holster's concept. I like the construction. Both are confidence inspiring. Both are excellent. That being said, I would like to see a little more angle on the magazine holder or the sidecar itself. And I'd like to see that belt clip come down about 1/4 of an inch to really put that handle up for a nice full grip on your draw stroke. And this is a sample size of one thing. I did mention it on the range, but there's about an extra inch of holster below where my gun stops, and that really pushes down into my thigh. So not super comfortable. Also, a clip on that sidecar would be fantastic, because as it sits here, when that's the only point of grip, when you go to do a tack mag where you're reinserting, that is going to rock all over the place, and just kind of your consistency is going to suffer from that. Is that a huge problem downrange? I don't know. While I was practicing, it wasn't super terrible. You could definitely put a mag in there. It's going to grab it enough that you can forget about it. But I'd prefer a little more confidence from a clip, an additional clip on that mag holder. Also, I'm not sure how possible it is, but a rigid standoff here to push the butt of the gun back into the shooter or into the carrier, so that way that mag well won't print as much, if at all. Other than that, if I had to rate this holster from a 1 to a 5, it's a solid 3.5. As I said, the concept and construction are great. It does need some minor tweaks, in my opinion, in order to make it a 365 carry option. Currently, would I still carry this after the review process of about 3 to 4 months? For a little while, no, because I kind of miss the comfortability of my Kydex holster, as well as the ability to run a weapon-mounted light. But depending on the context, if I'm going out on a day trip that I don't expect to be out at night, and I want something a little niftier, I'm gonna rock the A110 side saddle. Other than that, those are my tabletop thoughts on the Falco / Craft Holsters A110. Big thanks to Al. Big shout out to my forced subscribers. Thank all 5 of you for being here. I'm enamored that I'm still able to review these products, and hopefully I can bring you more in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, or don't do any of that and just talk to me about this in person later. All right, have a good night. I'm gonna go make some food and finally take the trash out. That's it. Leave. Exit the video. All right, since you're still here, always train for your context. Don't get caught up in what the Gucci guy's doing on Instagram. Train for what you do. Build your loadout for what you're doing. What makes sense for you. All right? That applies in a lot of places. Think about it. Have a good one.